Pain, the god who wanted humanity to feel pain. You can't talk about Naruto villains without bringing up Pain, or, more accurately, Nagato Uzumaki. The guy literally called himself a god, and honestly, for a while, he had the power to back it up. Wielding the legendary Rinnegan, he could control 6 bodies at once, each representing a different aspect of godlike power. It was like fighting 6 top-tier bosses all sharing one mind, an absolute nightmare. And with just one jutsu, Shinra Tensei, he could flatten an entire village. Yeah, you heard that right, the man wiped Konoha off the map in seconds. But what really hit fans wasn't the destruction, it was the emotion. Pain wasn't just another psycho. He was the product of war. A child who lost his parents to shinobi conflict. Who later lost his best friend Yahiko. His twisted philosophy came from heartbreak. He believed that true peace can only exist when people understand real pain. And that's what made him terrifying, not just his jutsu, but his conviction. He wasn't fighting for chaos or power. He was fighting for a world where suffering would finally end, even if it meant inflicting unimaginable agony first. A god complex built from trauma. Every ability he had was absurd. Bansho Tenen could pull enemies helplessly into his grasp like gravity itself. Chibaku Tensei created a miniature moon, a black hole of destruction capable of swallowing mountains. And when he fought Naruto, we saw something special, not just a battle of strength, but a battle of ideology. In the end, it wasn't Naruto's Rasengan that defeated pain, it was empathy. That conversation between Naruto and Nagato, filled with pain, grief, and hope, is one of the most powerful moments in anime history. Because for the first time, a villain didn't die screaming. He died understanding. Haido, the real estate king turned demigod. Next up, we've got Haido, the main villain from Naruto Movie 2, Legend of the Stone of Gelel. If you think evil ninja is bad, imagine evil billionaire with god powers. Yeah, Haido is basically the anime version of a corrupt CEO who read one too many conspiracy theories and decided he was chosen by destiny. Originally, he was just a rich industrialist, owning factories and companies, but everything changed when he discovered the Stone of Gelel, a mythical crystal said to grant divine power and miraculous healing. Sounds noble, right? Yeah, not for long. Instead of using it to help people, Haido let greed consume him. He built an army, gathered loyal followers, and set out to conquer the world. What makes him terrifying isn't just his power, it's his cold, methodical cruelty. Haido kills his own subordinates without hesitation, looks down on the leaf ninjas like insects, and truly believes fate chose him to rule. Once he absorbs the stone's energy, Haido transforms into something inhuman, with inhuman speed, godlike regeneration, and destructive power rivaling the tailed beasts. He can crush Naruto with a single blow and recover from any wound instantly. Behind him float 4 glowing red orbs, like miniature truth-seeking balls, symbolizing his divine transformation. Using them, he could fly, reshape his body into weapons, fire devastating energy beams, and destroy anything he laid eyes on. His regeneration was almost on par with Tsunade's meiotic regeneration, meaning he was basically immortal. But even gods fall. Haido was ultimately defeated, because in the Naruto universe, it doesn't matter how broken your power is. If you're facing the main character, your end is inevitable. That's the tragic beauty of being a villain in this world. Your power only exists to show how far Naruto will go to protect what he believes in. Danzo Shimura, the snake in Konoha's shadow. From the cosmic scale, we fall back to something disturbingly human, Danzo Shimura, the man who proves you don't need a tailed beast to be monstrous. Danzo was the embodiment of hypocrisy, a man who preached peace but practiced murder. As the leader of Root, Konoha's Black Ops division, he justified every atrocity as necessary for the village. He was the one who ordered Itachi Uchiha to massacre his entire clan, forcing a child into the role of executioner. He manipulated Hanzo into killing Yahiko, which led directly to the birth of Pain. Every domino of tragedy in the Naruto world seemed to trace back to Danzo's desk. But what made him so terrifying was his belief that he was right. Danzo didn't crave chaos, he craved control. He thought only he had the will to make the hard choices others couldn't. And of course, his power matched his arrogance. His right arm was embedded with dozens of Sharingan, stolen from the fallen Uchiha clan. With them, he could use Izanagi, one of the most broken jutsu ever, a technique that rewrites reality itself. When killed, he could simply erase that death from existence, trading one Sharingan for another chance at life. Basically, He was a walking save file. He also grafted Hashirama's cells into his body, giving him the ability to heal and enhance his chakra reserves. Combined with his wind release techniques and his monstrous summon Baku, Danzo was far from a pushover. But his downfall was poetic justice. When he fought Sasuke, every Sharingan on his arm symbolized a stolen life, and as they blinked out one by one, so did his borrowed time. His final act wasn't redemption, but delusion, detonating himself to take others down with him, still believing he died a hero. Danzo's story asks one haunting question: can evil be justified if done for good? Naruto's answer, of course, was no. Mukade, the man who tried to rule the world through chakra veins. In NarutoShippuden, the lost T there Mukade. At first glance, he looks like your typical office worker who'd steal credit for someone else's project, pale, skinny, and unremarkable. But don't let appearances fool you. This man was a rogue ninja from the Sand Village who dreamed of nothing less than world domination. And the key to his insane ambition? Ryamyaku, or the dragon vein, an ancient, limitless source of chakra buried beneath Roron. Think of it like an infinite battery of raw energy that never runs out. Mukade found a way to directly absorb it, turning himself into a living pseudo-tailed beast. That's right, he literally became a walking chakra reactor. Once connected to the dragon vein, Mukade could heal instantly, fight endlessly, and control over 1,000 puppets at once. A literal puppet army, all obeying his every command. And because that wasn't horrifying enough, he started modifying his own body, turning himself into a cybernetic puppet. Half human, half machine. At one point, he even transformed into a giant spider-like creature, crawling across the battlefield like something straight out of a nightmare. When cornered, Mukade fused himself with his entire puppet army, becoming a massive war machine, spewing chakra blasts everywhere. He could even absorb Naruto's Rasengan and heal instantly, as long as he stayed connected to the dragon vein. But that link, that was his fatal flaw. Once the connection was cut, his so-called immortality vanished like smoke. And as usual, Naruto's resilience and determination outlasted even the most broken power-ups. Mukade fell, joining the endless list of villains who underestimated the loudest ninja in the world. Indra Ōtsutsuki, the ancestral flame of hatred. Before the Sharingan, before Madara, before even the Uchiha name, there was Indra Ōtsutsuki, the firstborn son of the Sage of Six Paths. Indra was born with unmatched intellect and power. He was the genius, the prodigy, the chosen one, at least at first. But that brilliance came with arrogance. While his younger brother, Asura, believed in unity and love, Indra believed only in strength and control. This ideological clash between brothers became the foundation of the eternal conflict between Uchiha and Senju, between Sasuke and Naruto centuries later. Indra was also the first person to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan, a power born from intense emotion and loss. But here's the thing, despite his legend, Indra's actual feats are shrouded in myth. He's said to have fought his brother in a battle so devastating it split the land apart, basically a proto-version of Naruto versus Sasuke on a godly scale. In terms of power scaling, many fans place Indra somewhere around the fourth Ninja War versions of Naruto and Sasuke, which is insane when you think about it. But unlike modern characters who had allies, Indra stood alone, driven by bitterness. He wasn't pure evil, just consumed by the belief that love was weakness. And that single belief, passed down through generations, would ignite centuries of conflict, blood, and tragedy. He was the beginning of the curse of hatred, and in a way, every war in the shinobi world can be traced back to his philosophy. Kaguya Ōtsutsuki, the true final boss. While Madara might be the most beloved villain, Kaguya Ōtsutsuki was the one who truly broke the ceiling of Naruto's world. She wasn't a ninja. She wasn't even human. Kaguya was an alien being, the mother of all chakra, the first to consume the fruit of the divine tree and awaken godlike powers. When she first arrived on Earth, she wasn't evil. She was a refugee, someone seeking peace. But absolute power corrupts absolutely. And after consuming the chakra fruit, she transformed from savior to tyrant. She ruled through fear, sealing away all opposition and declaring herself the sole divine authority. Her abilities were beyond comprehension. She possessed the Byakugan, the Rinne Sharingan, and the Kekkei Mora, a bloodline limit so advanced that it made other Kekkei Genkei look like child's play. She could open portals to 6 different dimensions instantly using Yomotsu Hirasaka, making teleportation and space-time ninjutsu useless against her. And her signature move, Infinite Tsukuyomi, allowed her to cast a genjutsu so massive it trapped the entire world in a dream, draining humanity's chakra for eternity. She could morph the environment at will, turning deserts into lava fields, mountains into ice realms, and even fire ash killing bones that disintegrated anything they touched. Basically, she was a walking apocalypse. But beneath that cosmic horror was a tragic layer. Kaguya wasn't born evil, she was afraid. After being betrayed by humanity and losing trust in her own sons, she saw control as the only way to preserve peace. Her downfall came not from weakness, but from her inability to let go. And fittingly, it took the combined might of Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi, along with the will of the Sage of Six Paths, to finally seal her away again. It wasn't a victory over evil, it was the closing of a cosmic tragedy. Madara Uchiha, the god of war. Then there's Madara Uchiha, the name that sends chills down any fan's spine. You know a villain is legendary when people stop calling him a villain and just call him Madara. He's not evil for the sake of evil, he's a force of nature. The mastermind behind the Fourth Great Ninja War. Madara was the spark that reignited global chaos. What makes him truly terrifying isn't just his power, it's his intelligence. He manipulated Obito, planned for decades, and set the entire world up like a chessboard long before most characters were even born. When he was resurrected using Edo Tensei, it wasn't just another comeback, it was a spectacle. Madara single-handedly fought entire divisions of the allied shinobi forces like it was nothing. He tanked tailed beast bombs, summoned meteors from the sky, too, by the way, because one wasn't enough, and treated the 5 Kage like warm-ups. His abilities were a greatest hits album of pure chaos. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan for unrivaled visual prowess. Rinnegan for godlike control over life and death. Susanoo, a colossal armored deity that could slice mountains in half. And eventually, he became the Jinchuriki of the 10 Tails, turning into something beyond mortal comprehension. If Pain thought he was God, Madara was God. But the most interesting thing about him wasn't the destruction, it was his vision. Madara didn't seek domination, he sought peace. A distorted, utopian peace through infinite Tsukuyomi, trapping everyone in an eternal dream where no one could suffer again. A world without pain, at the cost of freedom. He genuinely believed he was saving humanity, and that's what made him tragic. His downfall? Irony. He was betrayed by Black Zetsu, Kaguya's creation, proving he was just another pawn in a cosmic plan he couldn't even perceive. If the series had ended with Madara as the final villain, it would have still been legendary. But Naruto had one more layer of chaos to show us, the origin of chakra itself. Hidan, the immortal fanatic. Then there's Hidan, one of the weirdest and most disturbing villains in the entire series. While most Naruto antagonists have complex backstories or tragic motives, Hidan? He just kills for fun and for faith. A devout follower of the cult of Jashin, Hidan believes that killing is a form of worship. His victims are sacrifices, his bloodshed a holy ritual. He doesn't seek power, justice, or peace, only pain, delivered in the name of his god. His immortality makes him nearly unstoppable. Cut off his head? He's still talking. Blow him apart? He's still laughing. He doesn't age, doesn't die, and feels pleasure in suffering. His technique is nightmare fuel. Once he gets a drop of his enemy's blood, he draws a Jashin symbol on the ground, stands inside it, and transforms into a living voodoo doll. Every wound he inflicts on himself is reflected onto his opponent, meaning he can kill you by stabbing his own heart while grinning in your face. He famously used this to kill Asuma Sarutobi, one of Konoha's most respected jonin, in one of the most gut-wrenching moments of the series. But his arrogance cost him. Shikamaru, fueled by grief and vengeance, outsmarted him, trapping Hidan in a pit, detonating explosive tags, and burying him alive. Not killed, not sealed, just left there, eternally conscious, cursing in the dark. A fate worse than death, and honestly, one he deserved. Moryo, the shadow demon who almost killed Naruto. If Haido was terrifying, Moryo was on a completely different level. Appearing in NarutoShippuden, the movie, this guy isn't even human. Moryo is a pure embodiment of darkness, born from the world's most corrupted chakra. His ambition? Not domination, but complete annihilation. He wants to drown the world in shadow and rebuild it as a kingdom of eternal night. Yeah, you heard that right. This dude wasn't just bad, he was apocalyptic. Moryo is one of the rare villains who actually came close to killing Naruto. In fact, a prophecy even foretold that Naruto would die at Moryo's hands, and not even realize it was happening. When Moryo fuses his spirit with his physical body, his power skyrockets beyond reason. He summons an entire army of stone soldiers, each one nearly indestructible. Normal attacks don't even scratch them. Then he cloaks the battlefield in a field of eternal darkness, trapping his enemies in endless confusion. His most disturbing ability? Those shadowed tendrils that shoot out from his body, faster than Naruto's reflexes. Capable of piercing defenses in an instant. Imagine fighting an opponent you can't see, who moves faster than your eyes can follow, while the world around you is swallowed by black mist. That's Moryo. And it wasn't just his strength. It was the psychological horror. He represented Naruto's ultimate fear, losing hope in the face of darkness. If it weren't for the light-sealing powers of the Demon Country Princess and Naruto's classic, never give up, energy, the world might have actually fallen that day. Moryo wasn't defeated by brute strength. He was defeated by belief, that eternal theme that runs through all of Naruto's best battles. Still, if we're ranking God-tier villains, Moryo easily sits near the top. If not for plot armor, Naruto wouldn't have stood a chance. Menma Uzumaki, the Dark Mirror. Finally, we end with Menma, a character who's basically Naruto's reflection, if Naruto had walked a darker path. In Road to Ninja, Naruto the movie, Toby creates an alternate reality using a prototype of the infinite Tsukuyomi. In that world, everything's reversed. The heroes are villains, the weak are strong, and Naruto's parents are alive, but it's not the life he imagined. And in that twisted reality, Naruto's counterpart is Menma Uzumaki. Menma is everything Naruto could have become if he'd let hatred consume him. Cold, ruthless, powerful. He's not a Jinchuriki, but he wields the Nine Tails chakra directly, enhanced by Toba's manipulation and even implanted with a Sharingan, turning him into a false Jinchuriki with terrifying strength. His ultimate move, the super-massive Rasengan, could wipe out entire villages. But what made him truly fascinating wasn't the jutsu, it was the symbolism. Menma represents Naruto's inner void, that version of himself who, without love or friendship, might have become a destroyer instead of a savior. And that's why their final battle hits so hard. It's not just hero versus villain, it's Naruto versus himself. When Menma falls, it isn't just another victory. It's a reminder that no matter how much darkness you carry, there's always a choice. Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the villains of Naruto, drop a comment about which one fascinated you the most, and don't forget to subscribe for more long-form breakdowns like this. I'll see you in the next video.